Alright, welcome guys to the guy with 10 rings, also known as Shang-Chi. So our story starts with this man right here, Wenwu, the dad of our future protagonist. He's got these super powerful rings that makes him basically a god, and I'm gonna be real with you, if I was a soldier in that army, I would not be trying to fight a dude who's walking straight at me like a menace. Like, oh hell nah, bro. He's out here smacking people around like it's the 100 men versus 1 gorilla challenge. Anyway, Wenwu builds his own army called the 10 Rings, and they basically go around doing the usual villain stuff like murder, terrorism, and you guessed it, more murder. We then cut to 1996 where Wenwu sets out to explore an ancient magical village called Ta Lo, and the first thing he sees when he gets there, well, literal trees moving, and then his entire team gets cooked by those trees. That's literally 1 point to Mother Nature, 0 to mankind. Wenwu then explores the forest before seeing a woman in a straw hat standing in the middle of nowhere, and his first instinct is to shoot his rings at her like, huh? They then have a fight where it's just mostly them jumping around, but then she takes off her hat and mask like, what? Isn't the point of it is to hide your identity from a guy that you're fighting? Why in the world would you take it off? But alright, man. The fight then goes on with my boy Wenwu trying to rizz up the woman. Let's go! She then ends the fight by turning his rings against him and disappearing. Talk about a crazy first day, bro. But don't worry, my man was still able to bag her and she ends up being Shang-Chi's mom. We then cut to present day Shang-Chi in San Francisco, waking up from a dream about his mom. He's living a chill life as Sean with his friend Katie. They're out here joyriding random customers' cars, singing karaoke till they pass out, and my boy even meets her family like the legend he is. They then take a bus together and a bunch of thugs show up wanting Shang-Chi's necklace, but he beats them up with some kung fu while everyone just watches. Oh yeah, and I forgot, there's also this big dude with a sword for an arm just shows out of nowhere. But my question is, how does the bus driver not notice a full-on fight in the back? Like, no headphones in the world can just block out the sound of glass breaking, right? Moving on, Shang-Chi packs his bags to find his sister Xiao Lang, I think that was her name, in Macau. Katie's just along for the ride while also crashing out in the back. We then get some flashbacks of his dad training him after his mom died, which is obviously some classic childhood trauma there, you know. In Macau, they end up in an underground fight club. Shang-Chi sees his sister and they throw hands because, you know, sibling stuff. She's actually mad at him for leaving her all those years ago, but before they can even sort it out, the 10 Rings invade and we get this cool chase scene and also this fight scene with this clown wannabe before Shang-Chi finally meets his father again. They all head back to Wenwu's headquarters for an awkward family reunion. Wenwu lays it all out. How he met their mother, his past, his plans to reunite with her by opening the gates to her mystical village. According to him, she's been calling him, but I'm gonna be real, I'm no doctor, but it sounds like this dude is either seriously paranoid or deep in some next level grief. Shang-Chi and the team figure out their next move and eventually meet this guy who at first I didn't recognize, but it turns out to be the supposed Mandarin from Iron Man 3 named it Trevor? They also run into this random flying creature without a head who's apparently named Morris, which is pretty cool, I guess. The group then makes their escape to the mystical village of Ta Lo while Wenwu gets ready for war. And get this, the entrance to Ta Lo this entire time was actually a waterfall. Who would have thought? The siblings meet their aunt and start training for the battle with their father. There's also another flashback about how their mother died. I'll be real, I don't know why she tried to take on like 20 dudes by herself instead of calling for help. And where was Wenwu this entire time? The guy with 1,000 years of experience? I would expect that he didn't just leave his house unguarded like that, right? Anyway, Wenwu shows up and explains what he wants, but the village just straight up says nah and they start fighting. Wenwu tries to bust open the magic gates and release these soul-sucking creatures that had everyone like, yeah, we should probably work together now. Meanwhile, Shang-Chi summons this massive dragon from the lake, like where did that even come from, and heads to the mountain. He and Wenwu have the ultimate father and son showdown. Shang-Chi manages to take control of half the rings, turning them from blue to orange. He tries to reason with his dad, and it almost works until this giant creepy monster, I think it's called the Dweller in the Darkness, busts out and eats Wenwu's soul. And before dying, Wenwu passes his only inheritance to Shang-Chi, his rings. What a great dad. With the help of his sister and the dragon he found in the lake, Shang-Chi shoves the rings down the monster's throat and does this spinning ritual thing in the air to finally kill it. The movie ends with a lantern ceremony for the dead, and then there's a cameo with the Avengers talking about the rings like they didn't just ignore what happened in this entire movie. Like, where were you guys? Overall, I'll give this movie a solid 8 rings out of 10.